All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. If you could go ahead and grab a seat. If you are here with us in person anyway, if you're online, we don't care if you sit, stand, all of it's fine. My name is Kristen Strawbridge, and thank you for being here. We are very excited for the night that we have planned, and it is jam-packed. So we are going to try to keep things moving as quickly as we can. Basically, I'm just excited to be here, honestly. Okay, so this is Catapult. Thanks for being here at Catapult, whether you're here in person or online. Our goal is to help entrepreneurs get started and then keep going once they're started. And so tonight, we're going to be looking at some of those companies that are more at the point of scaling their business. So they've been going for a little while and they're ready to take that next step through the purchase of some type of asset in order to take their business to the next level. So if you've been around for a while, you may have been to a launch pitch event, but you might not know all the behind the scenes things that kind of go into it. And I'm not just talking about like me making the presentation, though I did do that, so I would take the credit for it. But I mean, throughout this process, we have done a pitch practice with all the entrepreneurs you're going to hear from tonight. They have had to sit down in a Q&A session with these judges, which is probably as intimidating as it sounds. And also they will be doing the pitch for you tonight. So this is just one part of the process. It's the most fun part of the process, I think, and I'm really glad that you guys are here for it. But at the end of the night, we will be announcing who the winners are for that grant money. So this is not a competition, though I'll be honest with you, I grew up playing sports and I love a good competition. So if that makes it more fun for you, go for it. But we could have no winners, we could have 5 winners, we could have any mix in between. So stay tuned to find out. You don't know now, but you'll know soon. And so we are going to have, before we get started, this would not be possible if it weren't for the generous donation of Lakeland's community bankers. I mean, I know you don't often think, let's give a round of applause to the bankers, but we are really excited that they are here tonight and for what they've done. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so we have a panel up here of judges. We have 5 of them. And if you guys could just, we'll start here with you, Steve, if you could just introduce yourself using that microphone right there, kind of tell everybody who you are. This one works.
That one works. Okay, good. How you doing? I'm Steve Mosley with Mid-Florida Credit Union.
Good job. Mike Clanton with Center State Bank.
Wesley Beck with Aspire Properties.
Sean Irwin with Wells Fargo.
I'm Mike Hall with Truist Bank.
Great job, guys. Okay, so we are about to get started. The festivities are going to begin, and I'll get out of the way. But just to give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen. So we have 5 pitchers tonight. The first one is a student, which is very exciting, Jack. And so he's pitching for up to $2,500. It's a little bit different than the other companies. He can be a little earlier on in the process. That's something we developed recently. That's been a really fun way to just help students who are trying to get businesses started. So we're excited. Jack is here from Southeastern. That's also where I went, so go Fire. And then we will have 4 companies that are also pitching for up to $10,000. So that first pitch will be 6 minutes. The rest of them will be up to 10 minutes. And so without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Jack up here. Oh, Christina's giving me a sign. I'm not surprised. I did forget something. So you're great. Just keep going back and forth just like that. Okay, so Jack is going to go, and immediately following his presentation, we are going to have time for Q&A. Unfortunately, not for you guys, not for the audience, just for the judges. So this is their time to get answers to the questions that they need to make their funding decisions. But hang on to those questions that you have, because while the judges leave later to deliberate, you will have time to ask those questions to all of the presenters. They'll come back up. It'll be really fun. Everybody can sing Kumbaya and cheer them on. So now, really without any further ado, we're going to bring up Jack. All right, that should be it.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Jack Miller, and I'm the founder of POC IT Apparel. As many of you know in here, every successful business requires someone to think of a problem that needs to be solved. So what's the problem that my startup is trying to solve? Well, for years, I've seen the same issue. Runners having no functional or comfortable way to hold their phone in place while they run. This is when I came up with a solution. This journey took place when I was 16 years old. Back when I was 16, I was experiencing the same problem that all of these runners are going through every day. The problem itself comes from having these attachment products, such as an armband that falls down your arm, or a running vest that's too bulky or heavy and weighs you down, or a stomach belt that's very slippery and slips down your stomach. So what is the solution? Well, as I said before, when I was 16, I was experiencing all these same issues. And this is when I had an idea. Early last year, I had a very rough prototype made, and this got the ball rolling for over 150 prototypes to be made within a year. Testing designs, different materials, having various athletes try on the shirts. And this is when I had, after 7 manufacturers, had the eureka moment and cracked the shirt that I'm about to present to you today. So, POC IT's signature shirt is an innovative way to hold your phone and other essentials on the go. It really is the lightest method of carrying your essentials on the market. Now, as you can see, when you walked in the room, you probably thought there's one guy especially underdressed for this event. But in fact, I'm actually wearing the shirt. So let's run through some of those key features. Sorry about that. So, as you can see, the shirt itself has an elastane cuff on either side to prevent movement. The pocket on the left-hand side is large enough for the biggest iPhone or Android on the market. However, because of the compressed fit and stretchable spandex material, even if you have a smaller phone, there's still limited movement. If you have smaller arms, all you have to do is roll the cuff up one time. The right-handed pocket itself is a smaller pocket, perfectly designed for inhalers, energy gels, keys, or credit cards. The body of the shirt is made with a lightweight performance material to keep you cool, but the sleeve material is actually water-wicking to keep your essentials dry. There's also a subtle loop right here for your headphones so it doesn't dangle. So, since launch 2 months ago, I've been a pretty busy boy. Collaborations with Ultra Recovery Pro and Gorilla Audio have really expanded our social media presence. We've ran competitions and done giveaways, which, as I said, expanded our brand online and increased our growth and our sales. After a week of launching in September and having such terrific customer feedback, I reached out to Lakeland's very own Richard Wells of Fitnish, the only Lakeland retail running store. He was so impressed that he agreed to put my full product line in his store with the title display, "Born in Lakeland, sold at Fitnish." I also have a partnership agreement with a professional soccer team who have agreed to take 60 shirts per year in a licensing agreement. As you can see on screen too, we love associating our brand with some top athletes to try our shirts out. This is a Houston Rockets NBA player just loving the shirt in his off-season with Houston Rockets. So, with POC IT, I'm really trying to create a community of runners and exercise enthusiasts online, especially on Instagram. We have over 4,000 followers on our Instagram right now in a 2-month period by engaging and connecting with as many customers and followers as possible. Because we use direct messaging to reach as many customers to lower advertising costs at this early stage. This is a cost-effective way to advertise and builds that relationship. And as you can see, because of the relationships we've built, customers love posting POC IT and sharing their experiences online. We've shipped to 8 different countries so far and have a 100% customer satisfaction rate so far. Currently, I'm the one that fully operates POC IT. And I love it, to be honest, because it gives me a chance to learn every inch of my business inside and out. Yeah, it's a lot of work, from marketing to shipping out the shirts, to product development, to customer service. I do it all, but I really do love it. We've done over 6,500 in sales within a 2-month period. But how does POC IT reach that next level of growth? Well, today I'm asking for a 2,500 grant to fully fund my design patent. But how does that design patent really help POC IT grow? Well, this gives POC IT leverage when discussing with potential licensing partnerships, such as retail stores, running clubs, sponsoring Lakeland running events, things like that. I already have one licensing agreement in place, and that will fully pay for the 25% of the grant that I'm expected to pay back. Within 1 year, I plan to be in 3 to 5 retail stores and have 10 plus licensing agreements in place. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, staying hands-free has never been easier with POC IT. Hi there. Sorry, I was so nervous.
All right, so it's our turn for questions.
Yeah.
I don't know if this works. Oh, yeah, it's good. So you've asked us for money for a IP protection, patent protection. So what is exactly your patent going to be?
So the patent, I've had 2 patent searches done. One when I was 16, and then I moved to America, so it kind of delayed the process. But I've had another recent patent search done, and there's nothing like this completely on the market. So I already have the drawings in place. I've been quoted twice, and 2 patent companies are willing to do the patent for $2,500 with the filing fees in place. So it's kind of like a pro bono for a student. And so this would protect the complete design of the shirt with the pockets on the sleeve.
Is it the combination of the 2 pockets, or what actually is patented?
So the patent would be the design of the 2 pockets, being able to hold your phone on one side and your other essentials on the other side. Because what I've found from much market research is that people like having something on both sides because it evens out runners' weight instead of just like the armband being on one side and dragging someone down.
Thank you.
No problem.
Why do you feel like Lululemon or another company is not putting pockets right there, they put pockets anywhere else?
Because their focus isn't pockets. So my company is POC IT, and that stands for pockets that hold your information technology, pocket and an IT. So I've spent the past 2 years really focusing in on pockets, on the way I think that is the best way to hold your phone. There's shorts out there that have loose pockets on them, but they don't have any security on their sleeves. We have Velcro straps to make sure your items stay in place and stay secure. So to answer your question more clearly, I really do think that the reason they've not explored it is, because it hasn't been done before, but I think I've just thought outside the box with it, to be honest. They've came from purely on an online store, purely for Instagram. I haven't put one marketing dollar into the company yet until I learned more about how that really works. I didn't want to fire through all of my sales profits and put it all into advertising when I wasn't too clear on how to really utilize that money. So it's all came from organic sales through Instagram, people I know getting the word out there and things like that. Because a lot of sales actually come from, as we can see over here, just people post whenever someone buys a shirt. That usually leads to at least 2 or 3 more sales because people post on their social media accounts because we've built up that relationship on Instagram, and then that's how it's kind of grown organically from there.
So all the pictures are just the same shirt you're wearing now. Is that it, or is there a whole line to the?
So basically, I funded this whole startup myself. I refused any money from my parents, so I sold my car for the first round of inventory. So I was only able to really purchase the set amount of shirts in one color, and then I was prepared to get feedback on all of the small amount of inventory I had, and then improve the shirt. But no one's given me any negatives of the shirt at all. Everyone really loves it so far. I also have a women's set of clothing that I have, but that's not included in the pattern or anything like that, because my sister actually has type 1 diabetes, and she needed somewhere secure to put her insulin pump. So I created a biker short that has secure invisible zip pockets that have never been seen before to hold her insulin pump and, you know, her phone and stuff like that too. So that's what I have.
How much do you sell the shirt for? How much does it cost?
So the retail price of the shirts is $40 right now with free shipping in the UK and the US. I have operations set up in the UK because that's where I'm from. So half my stock's there and that gets distributed throughout Europe. And then I have all the stock, the rest of the stock in my college apartment. So, and the shirts cost between $7 and $8 landed. Yeah, so, but it's high quality, I promise.
So when you graduate, you're going to stay in Lakeland or you go back to England?
I'm from Scotland, but it's close enough, sorry. But I don't like being called English. But no, I'm planning on staying in Lakeland. I'm currently doing my master's degree in international business. I'm playing soccer full-time at the College of Southeastern, so plan to stay in Lakeland for as long as I can.
So you're going to school full-time,
Yeah. Not much. Maybe that's why I was really like shaky at the start. But 3 cups of coffee today. So, but yeah, it's been a process, and like I said, I fully funded this this whole journey myself by selling my car, and I worked 2 jobs the past 2 semesters because 150 prototypes aren't cheap, let me tell you. But we got there in the end.
Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
All right. I don't know if this is like an inappropriate time to say that I was a college athlete, and if you're trying to look for people to get like the word out, I'd take a free shirt, but we can talk about it later. So next person we have up is Brenton Huffaker. I meant to ask you and I never did. Okay, good enough. So he's going to tell us about AeroCommerce.
Since all of you drove here tonight, I know many of you understand the headaches of car dealerships and high-priced parts. Maybe this has led some of you to buy parts from places like O'Reilly's or AutoZone, but aircraft owners don't get these kinds of options. And this is how we are here to help the industry today. My name is Brenton Huffaker, and I'm the owner and founder of AeroCommerce LLC. AeroCommerce is an aircraft salvage company currently based at the Lakeland Linder International Airport. Our mission is to service the general aviation marketplace with competitively priced parts in a timely manner. Manufactured parts are predisposed to inelastic demand, meaning these parts have no substitutes, have little competition, and are limited in supply. The AVREF database tracks price movements within the industry. Here is a price history of a single part over the last 20 years. That's a 400% increase in price. This is all too common with aircraft parts. At AeroCommerce, our primary source of revenue comes from used part sales. We strive to provide a quality part at an affordable price. Our biggest result in buying salvage is saving the customer money. This is our biggest advantage. Let me show you an example. This is a lower cowling from a Cessna 185. This cowling new from Cessna would cost you $30,000. AeroCommerce offers this same quality used part for just $4,500. That's an 85% savings. This is how we get our inventory. We buy aircraft in any condition and in any location. We specialize in aircraft salvage, recovery, and transport. And we have worked alongside aircraft owners, maintenance facilities, FBOs, the FAA, insurance companies, and law enforcement. We have been in business for over 3 years. Our largest customer base are aircraft owners and maintenance facilities, but we also provide training aids to maintenance programs, technical schools, and universities. We have successfully carried out over 4,500 transactions. We've done over $500,000 in gross revenue between 2017 and 2020. We are currently a top-rated seller on eBay, and we have a 100% feedback rating from over 2,000 happy customers. Today, we are seeking a $10,000 investment to secure a website and provide AeroCommerce with its very own selling platform. We are looking to move away from eBay by creating our own e-commerce website. This website will be created and designed by Barrett Creative, influenced by us for the needs of our customers. We currently sell between 60 and 75% of our inventory on eBay. Through eBay, we pay fees as high as 8 to 14.7%. These fees are comprised of insertion fees, final value fees, international fees, subscription fees, on top of merchant fees. Any item purchased through our website would provide us with an immediate gain in profit between 8 and 14.7% per transaction. This is how we plan to grow with our website. First, we plan on listing our current inventory to provide us with an immediate return on investment. Second, we are currently in talks with wholesale distributors, specifically Aircraft Spruce, to become a dealer. Third, and our most exciting news, is that we are entering the new parts category, initially starting with consumable goods like air and oil filters, spark plugs, grease, gaskets, brake linings, and so much more. And fourth is employment, because we know that this website will create inquiries and shipping demand. So within the first year of establishing our website, we plan on hiring an office and shipping manager. Upon receiving this grant, we plan on paying back our 25% immediately. We are AeroCommerce. We won't let you down. Thank you for your time.
So we talked a little bit in the back about the website and the price and everything as well. Have you considered doing maybe like a monthly subscription, like a Shopify or one of those setups? And what's the advantage of having your own site versus that?
Well, it would be really hard to probably target, someone that had a specific need for parts, maybe due to they only need that model or that brand of part. So really, I feel like the website would probably cater to our needs a little bit better than a subscription.
What's the biggest limit of you increasing your revenues? What's holding you back?
From increasing our revenues? So I'm the only person that works at AeroCommerce right now, so I'm pretty tapped out. So really, I feel like to have an office or shipping manager to be able to answer some of the inquiries that we get on parts would really help us out. It would help us out by me not having to do like task-oriented things like shipping the product or answering questions. And more or less, I could focus my purpose would be basically listing parts and getting the inventory.
If it worked out perfect for you, what would your company look like in 5 years and then maybe 10 years?
From 5 years, hopefully we'd be a full-blown salvage yard, like a real, something that you would see in Arizona where you see a bunch of airplanes just sitting on a field or something, and be a multi-million-dollar company servicing general aviation marketplace. I think we have the potential. I think we've really cornered a problem in our industry, and I think we've been successful by being profitable with this.
Tell me a little bit more about what you mean by the slide that's above your head right now.
This one?
Yeah.
So this was a 421 that was
No,
sitting.
I'm talking about your statement of paying back 25% immediately. I don't understand.
Oh, so we have to pay. Catapult is requesting us pay back 25%. Mm-hmm. So if, upon getting this grant, we would like to just go ahead and pay it forward.
But I thought that's what you meant. I don't think that's what we meant. The goal of this is you pay it back or after you've been successful with the grant money that we've given you. It's not for us to give you 10,000 and you give us 2,500 back that day. That's not what we want to happen.
Okay, and absolutely, the more money,
Is that right, Christina? Yes. Okay, yeah.
to be able to do this over a longer period of time would definitely help us out. Because I'm like the overall initial cost of the website, the demand of the website would be another thing that's gonna hurt us, like employing. And then, so we are talking with wholesale distributors. If we do this agreement, we have to do like $5,000 in inventory every year. That's like the minimum amount that we would have to do. So to be able to spread this out would be great. But even getting any money at this point would really, I feel like, benefit us.
Yeah, I understand that. I just wanted to make sure you understood it. That's not our goal. It's for you to turn around and pay it back immediately.
Absolutely. And
we want you, in the event that we were to give you money, we want you to go out there and use it to grow your business.
Successful.
And hopefully that growth in your business will allow you to pay it back for us to give to other people and grow their business.
Absolutely.
And that's the only reason that we're asking to do that.
Absolutely. I know I was just thinking like paying it forward automatically, but I totally get you. I think for us, it would be better off to be able to pay this over, like they had mentioned, a 2-year period, even doing like half and half, 1 year to the next, $1,250 1 year, maybe $1,250 the next, maybe, split quarterly.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Do you have any direct competition that also sells used aircraft parts?
So we do. I believe there's probably 3 people in Florida that do this. 1 person in Jacksonville, 1 person in Melbourne, and 1 person in Leesburg. They kind of do similar to what we do. I don't know that they really are searching for aircraft like we do. When we go to airports, we're looking for anything that's got flat tires. Really for me, I'll write a letter, put it in the mail, and ask the owner of the airplane, hey, would you be willing to sell this? I don't know that other companies would be willing to do something like that. They may do more recovery, like insurance recoveries, which we still do. But really, we're seeking out any derelict airplanes that are out at any airport.
So one of the things that impressed me when we talked earlier was that you've been doing this with your own cash flow. You haven't borrowed any money. You've been doing this for a couple of years, and you actually have created a business based upon your own ability to do that, similar to the young man that was up before you. Can you talk a little bit about how hard that is for an entrepreneur to bootstrap and create something from just the money you have in your own pocket?
It's extremely hard. I feel like the best thing is not going out thinking that you need a bunch of borrowed money to be able to make money. For us, we started with $2,500 airplanes. We'd go out, we'd seek out a $2,500 airplane, and then we'd bring it in shop. We'd strip every part on it, and then we'd list every single part. Maybe gain enough to be able to do a $5,000 airplane. And now every once in a while, we're doing $20,000 airplanes, so I feel like the numbers start small, but it's just a number really at the end of the day. I think if you just take a few zeros off, you can look at it the same way. But it's been hard. Throughout the years, by doing it on eBay and things like that, we haven't bought a website yet. We probably could have. We probably could have paid for our website 3 times over at this point. But we utilized free services or free selling platforms to be able to kind of get us to this point. So pretty much it.
Well, thanks. That's impressive for me, and I think for all the entrepreneurs in here. We so many times, we see both sides of it. We see the ones that have been spending a lot of time and building their own money, and then we see ones that just say, "Hey, I have an idea, give me money."
Absolutely.
And it's very difficult to fund the ideas that just say, "I have an idea, give me money." And so we like to see that the people that have been around and have tried it and realize what works and then come ask for some help. So
absolutely,
we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you. All right. Also, one fun thing I learned about Brenton in the closed door session that was near and dear to my heart is he has lived in Lakeland his whole life. He has stayed here and he's not going anywhere. I'll be honest. I love that. So very fun. Thanks for sharing that. Just one quick thing before we bring Clay up. Since we have the people on live stream, it's kind of hard for them to hear the judges' questions. So if y'all could just speak right into the microphone. I know it's a little bit of an awkward setup, but Thank you. All right, so here's Clay with Canning Creations / Screen Skins.
Okay, perfect. So, who here has broken their phone before? You and many other Americans have as well. So, according to Square Trade, back in 2014, Americans spent about $10.7 billion on iPhone repairs, just on their screens. So, if there's a way to fix that, and there's a couple strategies, but any screen protector you get at like a normal phone shop is about $50. There's a company called Zag. They kind of have the monopoly on that. So that's where I come in. Solution, screen skins. Why can't we sell a custom screen protector with any logo or design that you want on it, and it protects your phone, all for $34.99? So Screen Skins is a tempered glass screen protector that is transparent with your backlit display. So any logo I put on it, you will not see when your phone turns on. So my business model, I do custom screens, and I'm also looking to launch with a company called Fanatics. If you don't know Fanatics, they are kind of the Amazon of the sports world. So I currently am licensed with USF, UCF, and Florida State. I have rights to their logo, and launching with Fanatics will allow me to get tons more colleges and hopefully move into the NBA and MLB very soon. As for marketing and sales, I don't know if any of you guys know this. If you are on TikTok, I have probably popped up on your For You page a couple times. I have had several videos go viral now. One hit 2 million, and that 900,000 one actually just hit 1 million today. That one is an international one that went viral in the UK and Australia. So here is a video of all my messages. I don't know if you can see it, and this is just on TikTok alone. This does not include my Instagram, and they just keep going. They keep going, I'm telling you. So currently, most of the business is run by me. I do have 2 interns that work for me, one that answers DMs, and the other one helps me with production. My biggest struggle has been keeping up with production and orders of all my custom screens. It takes time to make a custom screen. It takes anywhere 15 to 20 minutes, up to 30, depending on the artwork that we are given. So my need is another machine so I can make more custom screens. Currently, I only have one, so if that goes down, I'm out of luck. I will have to figure out how to make them really fast or fix my machine. So an additional machine offers me a backup, plus it allows me to make more screens at a time. And this also allows me to do more branded stuff for small businesses. Doing one batch of orders right now, I can do maybe about 10 on average, depending on the size of the phone, per run, which each run's about 30 minutes, depending on the artwork. So an additional machine that is bigger will allow me to do probably upwards of 20 to 30, depending on the phone size. Right there. So growth. This grant will essentially allow me to pay for my licensing that I need to launch with Fanatics. I have already gotten in the door with Fanatics and worked with their hard goods buyer and their online merchandise person. And essentially, I need all these licenses in order to launch with them in March of 2021. And the guy told me when you apply for the licenses, don't even do the application. He said, just give him my phone number. So the colleges will just call him, and hopefully they'll all approve me to get there. But in order for me to do that, I do need the money to get the licenses. So Fanatics. Fanatics wants me to launch with their top 30 organizations within March of 2021, like I said. And they're projecting us to move about 50 to 100,000 units within the first year. And the 25%, I fully believe I'll be able to pay it back. I mean, you could just look at my Instagram and TikTok DMs. I'm sure most of those, the conversion rate on that has been pretty successful, anywhere of like 30 to 40%. So I imagine I'll definitely be able to pay that back. And now demo time. You guys have already seen mine. Okay. We can pass them around if you want to. So you can look at them. You can break them too. It doesn't really matter. The screens were kind of messed up. The logo was. So essentially, you're going to see a demo of our Texas A&M screen. Feel the design. You can't feel it at all. And when you put it on your phone, It depends. Put it right on your phone and turn it on and you won't be able to see it. And questions and answers.
Yeah, so if you're like me and you suck at putting on screen protectors, what happens if I buy one from you, custom one, you send it to me, I try and put it on and
I will replace it
for free?
for free. I'll ship it right back to you. Through Fanatics, it'll be a little different as, you know, we're doing larger quantities, but we're going to try and do something where we can work out like a warranty, something along those lines. Because any screen I offer now, if it's a fully custom one, you know, you mess it up, I'll do another one for you. But any of them, like any collegiate ones I do, I'll replace it right away.
I'll ask you the same question. So say a couple years down the road, it works out and you're successful. Are you doing more bulk sales through like Fanatics where you do, you know, 10,000 runs, or are you doing custom at that point? Are you going to get out of the custom order? What do you think is a long-term play here? What makes the most sense?
Currently right now, obviously most of my demand is for custom screens. Down the line, it will probably be more bulk orders, but I still do want to offer the custom component. Obviously maybe for a little bit more of the marked up price just because of the time that goes into it. You know, you're doing 20,000 units. It's not worth your time to do one for $30, you know, so maybe up it a little more. It's about 50, 60-ish for a custom screen. So, and hopefully, depending on the licenses, some of them will allow us to say, hey, you know, we're going to have the UCF logo, but if you want to add in like a date, like a graduation, you know, something to you personally or like your name, hopefully we'll be able to do that.
And then with the custom, have you looked into, or is it possible for, you mentioned you spend a lot of time on the artwork. Is it possible to create a app, a website where the person uploads their own artwork to where when it comes to you, it's just done versus you having to spend all that time?
For the most part, I mean, you can go on my website right now. Google Screen Scans, go under custom. That's exactly how they order it right now. They upload their artwork. I get the artwork in and I kind of have my guidelines and say, hey, you know, this is what works best for me. Some of them are super easy, and some of them, you know, if they're more intricate designs or if they type in kind of in the notes what they want, that's what takes the most time. But that's about it.
So you're asking for, you didn't really go through in your presentation, but you're asking for $10,000 to buy a piece of equipment.
To buy a laser, essentially that's kind of how I make them, with a computer that goes with it as well. That will kind of help, especially with the design component. Faster computer will be able to go back and forth between different designs.
So I pushed you a little bit when we were talking because you need $30,000 to buy the licensing for Fanatics.
I do.
So I kind of feel like you're asking for the wrong thing. So explain to me a little bit more why you
the goal is
don't
more
think that
to
you're
bootstrap
asking
it.
for the wrong thing.
Kind of what I've been doing the entire time. I've been doing this for almost 3-4 years now. You know, so I bootstrapped the entire thing. So if it can help me get another machine and get more screens out the door, hopefully I'll be able to come up with that money by the time I'm supposed to launch with Fanatics.
A lot of times, you know, in my opinion, entrepreneurs ask to buy things and they should try to rent things. And so, you know, when I listen to what you're asking for, I really do believe you're asking for money for the wrong thing. I would be trying to raise that money for your licensing and figure out some other way to produce your product, either through another vendor, a machine maybe Catapult has or something like that.
So definitely the machine here at Catapult, like you said, my piece of equipment is 90% custom. There's a company that does it. I work with them just because I'm working with glass. Like if I use the machines down at Catapult, it's a 150 watt laser. Go right through the glass, no problem. You know, it'll shred it. So the reason, you know, I'm asking for this is because the machine is pretty specific and every mold I create has to go in that machine for, you know, the screens to fit into it. Okay. So I wish I could rent it, trust me.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You good?
All right, so our next group over here, as they start making their way forward. So We are going to have up here first Isabel, who is not featured on the screen currently, but she is going to introduce Wendy. So, you guys got it? You did a great job. Seamless. People barely noticed.
Good evening. My name is Isabel Baker, and I'm with Caring Cradle. And before we start, we just wanted to let the room know that our topic is difficult. We're going to talk about stillbirth, and it could be particularly difficult for someone in the room or maybe someone watching us online. We really wanted to honor that, and we wanted to tell you we completely support you if you need to leave the room. If 2020 hasn't taught us anything, it's to take better care of ourselves and each other. So we support you on that. So this is Jackie McManus. She is a hospice nurse. She's been with hospice for over 10 years and she works with us. And this is our creator and our founder, Wendy KOWALSKI. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. First of all, I'm honored to be invited to come tonight and tell a little bit about our story. It is a very sensitive subject, but an important one to talk about. First of all, when we talk about stillbirth, the doctors claim that to be from 20 weeks gestation to birth when a baby dies before they're born. We don't hold any time on that. It could be at any time a baby's born that they have died before they're born. I need to get my slides going. So demographic-wise, 4.8 million babies are born a year in the US, and of that, about 24,000 of them are stillborn. So mothers who have a baby that die, they're in shock, and they need time to spend with that baby so that they can begin their grief journey. So with that, they need time. And if babies are taken from their moms too soon, there's going to be shock and there's going to be remorse. So this is also going to be traumatic on multiple levels. This hits deep into the families, including the siblings and grandparents. Nurses want to give their parents time with their baby, and they know that that's important. They also know that the natural changes that occur after death are not kind. And the nurses want to keep the baby with the family, but when they see those changes start to occur, they want to remove the baby from the room to stop any further trauma. These changes can be slowed down by the cooling process, and sometimes nurses will try to help families keep the baby longer, and they'll either take the baby to and from the morgue. They may use ice packs to cool the baby or even keep the baby in a refrigerator on the hospital floor. Our story began when we realized that the hospitals were missing a vital step in caring for our families and how they begin their grief journey. So with this in mind, I created the Caring Cradle. The Caring Cradle is a cooling device that the families can keep the baby in the room with them as long as they're in the hospital, just as if their baby was alive. The Caring Cradle cools the body and it slows down the changes that occur naturally after death. Most importantly, the Caring Cradle allows families to keep the baby in the room so they are not having to make a trip to the morgue. The Caring Cradle is cooled by a compressor unit. You can see down here in our display, there's a compressor underneath that stays behind a locked cabinet. You just plug it in, turn it on, and within 20 minutes, it's ready to use. The compressor cools the bottom of the bassinet, and then on the bottom of the bassinet, there's a gel mat, which gets cold, and this gel mat can then be wrapped around the baby, and then the baby can be swaddled and held if the parents want to hold the baby. So our company is a woman-owned company, and I am that woman. We manufacture the only unit of its kind in the US, and we have already sold over 150 units. We currently sell to, we've been selling our original units to hospitals and to families. We have a lot of times families will buy these and donate them to hospitals. A couple of our major milestones. In 2017, we went to our first conference and we took our first prototype of the large carrying cradle here, and we introduced it to the nurses. And then in 2018, we shipped our first cradle, and we also brought all of our manufacturing to the US, made sure everything was US and Canada. Then in 2020, we shipped our first cradle outside of the US. First one went to Colombia, second one went to Canada. And then in June, we got our patent, which if anybody's never seen a patent before, they're amazing. They should be framed. That's the next thing I've got to do. We just got that in June. So our customers have come to us and asked, they said, we have a new problem. This cradle is large and they deliver babies very small. And a very small baby, you know, a 20-week baby is going to be tiny in this unit. So they asked for something different. They asked for something new. So we came up with the mini carrying cradle, which is over there on the table. Works very similar. It just has a different kind of compressor unit, and it uses Peltier cooling instead of a compressor. And it's about half the size of our unit that we currently have. What we're asking for today is a mold to make this top part, this bassinet. This one here is made from a 3D mold. It's rough. It's not something you can't do hundreds of them at any regular pricing. So we're asking for a mold. This is actually made from a mold. So we're familiar with the mold process. We have a great person up in Indiana who has made that one for us, and we would continue with them. Great price, $98.60. Very comparative to going overseas, which is about the only other place you can get a mold. So very happy with that. Our business is in a growth stage, I would say. Of course, everybody's probably had a little bit of a setback in 2020. As you can tell, we did get hit a little bit. Of course, the health area was a little tight. But with the introduction of our new cradle, we expect to double our 2019 sales, because almost everybody who has one of these larger cradles can use a smaller cradle. And we use 4 funnels for marketing, and those would be conferences and conventions, professional referrals, families that donate cradles. Usually they'll donate in honor of a baby that they've lost. And with almost every donation comes news coverage of some kind. We would pay back our 25%. As guidelines are recommended, it won't be any issue. And now it's your turn to talk to me. Do you guys have some questions?
Let's talk numbers.
No. You had your chance for that. No.
No,
Anytime.
One of the hardest parts for entrepreneurs is, and I call it jumping off the cliff. And you talked about it. So talk to us a little bit more about where you need to get your business to where you can actually quit your day job and work on what you're passionate about.
Can I ask my husband real quick? No, just kidding. I prefer, because I'm very cautious, which I'm sure most people who are financially savvy are, I'm very cautious, and I would prefer to do that slowly. So I would like to, slowly work down my time that I work. I love actually what I do. I'm an accountant by trade, and I wouldn't want to give it up totally. But I do expect this to go pretty quickly. And when it does, I'm ready to jump in. I mean, I've got the place for it. We're, got plenty of room for manufacturing. We've got our manufacturer set up for our minis already. We have ordered our first 20 to be started, although we won't have the tops yet because we got to still get the mold ordered. But I will quit my job as soon as we need to. Right now, I don't know that I would, I don't know that I'd be prepared, but I'm going to say by 6 months from now, I should be in a good position for that.
I'm an accountant too by trade, and I left that long ago.
I read up on you.
And
I know you're in the medical department too somewhere.
the hardest part is knowing when to make that change and taking that risk. And as an accountant, you're taught not to take risk. But
This was a big risk.
We are also taught to take calculated risks.
Correct.
And so I think you're past, in my opinion, you're past that point of you've taken that calculated risk. And at some point, and I'm not saying when that is, but you're really going to have to say, I have enough confidence in myself to invest in myself and do this full time. Because I think it's a really neat product, and you have a great story, and it's something that people are going to be passionate about that have gone through it and want to help others. And so I really like what you're doing. But that decision for you to leave that day job and do this full time is probably the hardest decision you'll ever make.
And they're watching tonight. But thank you. We may be talking. I know there's got to be questions. Come on.
It seems, to me, I look at this product and I think it's a product that sells itself. I mean, I can't imagine that you have to do a lot of selling. It's almost like you have to just FYI get the information out there, and it just, like you said, I mean, I could see people wanting to buy them and give them to hospitals, and it's just such a need. So it seems like what you would want to do is just get the information out rather than sell it. Has that been your experience?
Yes. And that is why when we went to our first convention in 2017, I think I mentioned this in our closed door, the nurses were flocking to us. It was crazy. I mean, even our 2018 convention, I remember at one point when everybody had left and it was all done, and the lady next to me leaned over and she says, "What are you guys selling over there?" Because it's just, everybody's got diapers and, all these other things at these conferences, and they're excited. And one thing I wanted to put in my slides and I never got to it is one nurse said, you can only say you're sorry so many times. And now they can have a tangible tool. They can go in the room and they can say, you have as much time as you want with your baby. It's your baby. Dress them, spend time with them, take pictures, and imagine, and I don't know how much time I have, but imagine the grandparents that were waiting for their grandbaby to be born, and they're in another state. They can now get there and they can see their grandbaby. And until people actually go through that, they don't get that. And I'm not emotional. I'm passionate. And we love all of you ladies that have ever had to deal with this. I tell you, the stories are what keep us going. If you read some of the stories. So.
From a sales perspective, so, you sold 150 units of the big one. And I know we talked back there that the initial sales is to go to the people who bought the big ones and sell them the small ones. But after that, how do you reach the other 5,000 hospitals in the United States?
I had a map I wanted to show you. The best way I know to do that is I've got to get time and people. So I have a full-time person who works here from Catapult. And I mean, I spend I use a lot of her time right now on the materials, the marketing materials, answering emails. I have, I think I mentioned before, we have the 2 volunteers that are on a moment's notice. They'll jump on the internet, answer orders, questions for me. I mean, we get emails at 2:00 in the morning a lot. And these are the parents that are up and they're like, I need to do something. And we can respond. So there's just a lot of, I think we've got to get to the hospitals. Conferences is the best way I know. And we just got to get, I guess, to answer your question, I got to get to the people that make the decisions.
And then how are you marketing now? I mean, you're saying marketing materials, what does that look like?
We have a press pack that if somebody, from a hospital wanted to know about it, it's several pages, pictures, information about it. We have nurses that, like, I can say, hey, can I have somebody call you? They want to talk to you. Because a lot of times people want to talk to somebody who has one, and I've definitely recommended that. I had a hospital in New York that they said, I want to see one. And I said, well, let me get a hold of a hospital. And within a day, we had an agreement. Hey, yeah, they can come visit us. And they took a little road trip and they went and saw it. And, and that's why I say the referrals. These nurses, they tell each other. They that's a huge part of our marketing. Thank you.
Good job.
Before we transition too quickly, I just want to thank you guys for the work that you're doing. I think sometimes entering into these markets where the problem is so big and can seem scary to talk about, it's really hard. So thanks for what you're doing. If we can give them one more round of applause as they get that out. All right. So last but certainly not least, we are going to bring Adam Welchel up from Spark Booking. So give him a round of applause.
Well, in 2017, I came up to my wife and I said, I want to be a bookkeeper. And I think she cried. Told me my father would disown me. But, after the initial shock, she was probably surprised because I had worked at Citigroup, IBM, and KPMG, and I don't think that was the next step she had in mind for me. But she got on board and we went door to door in Lakeland looking for bookkeeping problems. I have a word of advice, don't ever do that. There's a lot of bookkeeping problems if you want to go find them. There are plenty of them. Go chase that. So we had to get more specific about what we were looking for. So we adopted the tagline, technology, training, and bookkeeping. And it's in that order that we aim to help our clients improve their business and their systems. 200 years ago, 2007, this was the accounting system that somebody would walk into a building, go to the mail, and get pieces of paper and enter things into a computer. I promise you that used to happen, right? I'm not making it up, right? But nowadays, you can work online with anybody in the United States or even in the world and collaborate with them on bookkeeping. But the problem is this is not the bookkeeping system still. This is your bookkeeping system. This is your time tracking, your payroll, your point of sale, your online sales tools, and your AP, your AR, everything. And so all of these tools in our world, we call this a tech stack. And these pieces of technology, these off-the-shelf solutions need to work well together. And when they do work well together, you can grow and scale with a smaller footprint, a smaller team, and they work remotely. And so we are different in that way, where you don't come to Spark Bookkeeping with a box of receipts looking to reduce or try to maximize your deductions at tax time, right? We're helping with inputs and outputs, preferably in high volume, and interested in the back office procedures that your team needs to execute, and making sure that your people in the field know how to use the apps on their phone that will eventually end up with the data in QuickBooks. And so these are some of the really great, I call them guinea pigs, but some of the local businesses that have been fantastic to work with. And we have tested a few of these on them. And so I really appreciate some of them are here tonight. We've also been able to work with some national brands. And while we got a lot of variety, that's not really our focus. We're not trying to be everything to everybody. We know that if you focus on a specific industry, that the riches are in the niches. And so we're focused on finding a few narrow industries that have big bookkeeping problems that we can solve and produce a proprietary solution customize it for our user, and license it to other users. And so the service of bookkeeping is just a stepping stone for a leveraged product that we could offer them. And so actually, that's what happened. We found a gem in a membership-based business that was missing a key ingredient in their tech stack. And when we installed that item, that off-the-shelf solution into their workflow, it changed everything. Changed it for us, the people in the service, the owners, and their customers. And so we started taking on more of these locations at pretty good efficiency. And we were asked by corporate to present a proposal that would allow us to do all of their locations across the US, completely remote, centralize their bookkeeping, and in turn, we are aiming to build a proprietary solution that we can then license back to them after the 5 years. But our team, sorry, I can't see my slides. Where we are now is that in the last few months, we've really grown. We've doubled our team size, we've doubled our sales, and we're just growing very rapidly. We've been invited to use a space in the Yarnell building for our office, and we aim to hire 2 more people probably in the next 12 to 16 months, and to help us serve this one client, but also look for other opportunities as well. Our team members have really bought into the vision in that they've always brought their own machines to work and they bring their own computers to the table. But for the work we're doing, it's really not robust. It's not secure, and it doesn't meet the demands that we have for all the applications we use, the amount of monitors that we need, and the browsers that we have. And so many windows are always open, and we're trying to collaborate on Zoom, Skype, and Slack and work remotely with our clients and each other. And so we've just been bottlenecked by our own hardware, and we brag about being technology people. And so it's just a little bit ironic. So the ask is that we get help from you to purchase some really practical hardware for our team. We would spend that money locally here in Lakeland with a local computer company, specifically designed to support the work we're doing. Very fast processing, lots of RAM, can support multiple monitors, and a great camera and audio for collaboration with each other and our clients. And we feel like if we do that, we can say yes to this big opportunity, and we can go as fast as we need to go. And we think that would really improve our chances of getting more clients and hiring some new staff very quickly. And so with this $10,000, we plan on paying it back starting next quarter, around $400 a month in 6.2566 months. So for you accountants. So thank you.
All right, I'll go first. So I'm glad you said it, because it is kind of funny that an IT guy is asking for a few computers.
I know, yeah.
I think that's kind of good. I'm glad you addressed that. Yeah. So if we buy you the computer,
yeah,
you've got this new client that's probably going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
How do you go get the next big client?
Yeah, we don't want all of our eggs in one basket. And so that's why we're not necessarily only looking for this one opportunity. But I think we're going to learn a lot about each other along the way and how to find those problems and create those customized solutions that we can license back. Because we don't want this to be our only, rocket, up in the air and then that's it. So we are using this as a learning opportunity, honestly. And how can we go recreate these? There are tons of businesses that need similar solutions to what we're doing.
Can you give us a little bit more detail about what you're doing for Freedom that was game changing for them?
Right, so they had a really bad CRM. And we found a CRM that would integrate to some of the tools that I mentioned in the tech stack, that when we did that, just streamlined the whole operation. And so we have members for this client that are spending money on a recurring subscription base, but also these ancillary extra expenses. And so we were trying to align what these members had spent and why they spent it, and does it match this invoice, and who had talked to them. And so when you're talking about working with multiple clubs and you have one location, you need to know how to get to your members and what they've spent very quickly so that you're not putting them through this long, phone tree of, oh, let me send you to somebody else. Like, we can centralize all of the information. And they just had a really bad CRM. And so we replaced it and integrated it with some of our tools. We've developed an API just with their sales contract system, so that when their sales contracts come through, we're actually populating all of the fields from that contract into the CRM instead of hand keying all that stuff in there. And so that was really big. And then also that contract can generate an invoice in QuickBooks for that member automatically. So we used a local guy here. His name is Gerardo, and he helped us build that API, and he's on the second floor of this building.
So what other industries would be similar to this one?
I think anybody that's looking for, any business that has a recurring subscription, like a Go Minis, a Rat Pack, or even some service businesses like lawn care, pest control, pool companies that have recurring subscriptions need a better way to handle that. And this, I'm talking about the receivable side of it specifically, because that was one big thing that we handled for them. But and it is a common industry need, but recurring revenue companies need a better way to reconcile these massive deposits that come in with all of their customers. And sometimes the PCI compliance will hide information to protect the consumer. And there's software that can help make sense of all that information that just got dumped into the account. And so that's what we're doing for this one client.
So next presentation for people like me, if you'd have a balloon over your head that defines all these acronyms that you just used, it'd be really helpful.
Okay, I will. Understood.
So are you creating anything, or are you reselling solutions that are out there?
So the first step is to take an off-the-shelf solution, find out what's missing about it, and then come back to somebody with some development skills and see if we can effectively and affordably create that again. There are things we can do with off-the-shelf solutions. We can create custom APIs like we have done and grab information and manipulate it and automate those data fields into invoices and bills and payroll things and inventory. I'm going to attack the Aero Commerce guy later about his inventory system. Because, you know, like,
it's got to be a disaster.
I mean, it's got to be a hangar full of parts. Like, and we've developed iPhone apps or mobile apps that can populate custom inventory solutions into a database. We do that. Like, that's something that is easy to do for me. Okay. So, what was your question?
You answered it.
Okay. Sorry. I can just geek out on this. Yeah. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, so that concludes the presentations. With that, I will invite the judges to leave us to go make some slightly large decisions. So you guys can just follow Christina out that way. But I made a promise to the rest of you earlier, and sometimes, I'll be honest, I forget about the promises I make, but this time I'm gonna stand by it, and this is your opportunity to ask questions. So I'm gonna have all the presenters come over here. We have a stack of stools. If you could each get your own stool and then bring it up here and set it up between these speakers. So whether you're here with us in person, you can just throw your hand up and ask a question. And if you're online, you can also ask questions through the YouTube chat feature. We have George in the back, and he will be asking those questions for the rest of us to hear. So we would love for you to be engaged. Okay, will you come around to the other side? It was in line. It was really good, but we want to spread it out. Perfect. And then, will you grab that mic? So from here, we have Maggie. Will one of you come over here? Perfect. We just want to make it even and kind of keep it between the speakers so the live stream can see you. This is Maggie, our kitchen director. So if you had any of the food that was out there on the table, that's because she organized it. So let's give her a round of applause. We like her for her personality and her food, but the food gets the round of applause more, which is a little awkward. Okay, so Maggie's gonna field your questions, so please ask away. You have plenty of time. Okay, bye.
Testing.
All right. So, like Kristen said, my name is Maggie, and I get to work with the food-based businesses that are downstairs. So you are correct. We have 2 of our members who provided some food today, and we'll have a little break in a bit. So if you need more food, coffee, water, we can get all of that taken care of in a moment. But before we do all of that, we want to answer your burning questions. So we're just going to do a simple hand raise, but kind of like we mentioned earlier, I'm going to have to repeat the questions before we answer them, just so we know that the folks online can get a clear understanding of what's going on. So, does anyone want to start us off? All right, David Young. Okay, all right. We can do the second question in just a moment. Let's. Okay, all right. Okay, so the question was, why is a solution like Shopify not a fit for your product, and how do you plan to get traffic to your new website?
So I'm sure Shopify could work in some aspect. Really, I feel like we want to stand out by having a website. It will also kind of create another market for us. So we specifically do used parts right now. We don't do new parts, but the website would give us a chance to be able to do new parts without, sacrificing a lot of the profit margins on new parts. Honestly, websites are not my forte. That's why we have people like this up here. I feel like we need to network and be able to tap into other people's, what my weaknesses are, what might be their, strong points. What was the other question? Trafficking to a new website. So we do, in our budget, we had some for SEO, and then we had I want to say like 3,000 for Google ads to try to generate us to the top. We know just from analytical tracking that majority of our parts are searched from part numbers. So we tried to put a part number in every single one of our titles. And then something that we were gonna utilize while both the website and eBay kind of coexist together is any item that's purchased through eBay, we just put a brochure in there saying, hey, check us out. Look what we're doing new at Aero Commerce. We've got a website. We've got new parts for sale too, consumable parts, to try to drive the eBay, people to our website. So.
Awesome. Other questions? George, do we have any online? All right, let's go to George.
All right, so we have one question online, which is for Jack. Jack, you spoke about being a student, athlete, and business owner. How do you understand your priorities and manage your time?
Whoa, that's a big one. So just a bit about myself. I played soccer all my life at a really high level in Scotland. Had a few injuries, which basically made the opportunity come about for America since the professional life wasn't an option anymore. Came out here when I was 17. And then my junior and senior year of undergrad, I tore my ACL and broke my wrist. So injuries just kept following me. So then the professional life really didn't fall into the picture. So that allowed me to go to Southeastern, use the rest of my eligibility. But as I was edging the end of my soccer collegiate career, I started to think, well, what's the next steps? And I really always knew that there was something there with this idea. I had it when I was 16. I had the patent search done then, and then it kind of got put off when I moved to America. But to answer the question, there's 3 main priorities in my life, and that's education, soccer, and the business, and my family, sorry, mom and dad. But they all have to be balanced out. My time has to be balanced between all 3 of them. I've learned a lot about time management since starting this business, even back before when I was balancing 2 jobs to try and fund the prototypes and everything like that. It has been really challenging, but character building at the same time. So to answer the question, to repeat myself, just really balancing my time and understanding when something needs more attention. When I'm on an away trip, how do I balance sending out orders? All that type of stuff. It is challenging, but like I said, time management is the key for that. So thanks for the question that were asked.
Grant.
Yeah.
Could I repeat that real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so does your intellectual property cover how you're putting the water wicking material with the other lightweight material?
Yeah, so great question. With the design patent, it's completely different from a utility patent, and it does protect the actual material that goes into that. So Lululemon have a bunch of sports bras that are patented. So I'm sure if Lululemon can get a sports bra patented, I can get a unique running shirt patented. So yeah, to answer your question, that is included in the patent.
All right, Nate. Okay, 2 questions again. Let's see if we got this. All right. So first question is, you went viral on TikTok. Nate saw it, so that's a good sign right off the bat. And then the first question is, what's your conversion rate from TikTok? And then with that, how do you keep their attention once they've discovered you?
So conversion rate, it also depends what you're talking about. Is it from like views, comments, DMs? Doesn't matter. Okay. So actually, when I went viral on TikTok, I didn't even have my custom aspect of my store live, you could say. I kind of took it down just because I was doing more collegiate stuff at the time. But I brought it back up. So I missed like the first, you could say like 15 hours of going viral on that conversion. And plus TikTok wouldn't allow me to have my link in my bio. They wouldn't allow it. So that really hurt my website traffic. But I emailed them. I said, hey, I really need it. But most people were coming to my Instagram anyways, because a lot of people, you just click right to Instagram. But the more clicks you have, the less of a conversion rate you're going to have. So I noticed about 24 hours later, my website link was in my bio. I didn't do it. I have no idea. TikTok magic, I guess. So you could say once they went from TikTok to my website, I definitely saw the conversion rate jump up a little bit. But you also got to think a lot of people were asking for custom stuff. So they're all in my DMs. So when someone messages me, it's like, hey, this is what I want. And I'm like, oh, we can definitely do that. So I shoot them the link to the order page. They upload the artwork and they're good to go. So for every message, hopefully it's 100%, but probably as more I go, will probably be closer to like 30 to 40%. And the second question.
The second question was about how you're keeping their attention.
More posting. I've kind of been slacking a little bit, mostly trying to keep up with orders. But it's just keep posting on TikTok. It's mostly the dumbest things that go viral. I'll be honest. Like there is no secret. I promise. Any YouTube guy, they're lying to you. You just keep posting random things, trending sounds, trending hashtags. As well as like Instagram, because a lot of people will follow you over to Instagram and Facebook, and that's kind of where you keep them engaged at.
All right, more questions. I have a question just for everyone here to make sure we get a good everyone gets to share. So we all heard your pitches, love your stories. So how can we as a Lakeland community support each one of your businesses? So Wendy, can we go ahead and start down the line with you, and then we'll just work our way towards Brennan?
Well, first of all, I would say just spread the word. It's important for us to get out there and most importantly, talk about it. Don't be afraid if you know someone who has lost a child, no matter how early in their pregnancy, talk to them about it. They want to talk about it. So that's my first encouragement, and that's not even for our cradles, but and then I would suggest, if you know any hospitals, just get the word out. Just tell them, hey, there's this new thing I heard about, and I think you should look into it.
Can you say a question one more time?
Absolutely. So how can we as a Lakeland community support your business?
Okay. You can teach people how to reconcile their books. I'm just kidding. No, it's all good. It's hard because how can Lakeland help me? I mean, I don't know. I'm here to help Lakeland, and I'm like wanting to just make a big dent in it. And so this is the way that I've seen that it's been the most helpful. But I would say like just more, I guess with COVID, it's been hard, but I've been missing some of the one-on-one interaction with the locals that are here that have solutions and ideas. And I would want to just do more shoulder rubbing and elbow bumping and just be forced. In this case, like I met all of these entrepreneurs because I was forced to be here. And so like, I just need opportunities to be forced into a room with people that have good ideas and just be inspired by these wonderful entrepreneurs up here. So just make me do it. So, yeah.
Can you repeat the question? I'm kidding. So how you guys can kind of help support me? Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. It helps me out a lot. TikTok, definitely, if you're on there. And sharing. Sharing goes a long way, especially with Facebook. Kind of how we judge it is Facebook, there's supply and demand. It's just like any other business. And if you share my post, all your friends are going to see it, and they're going to like it or they're going to come follow me. So anything like that definitely helps. Engagement, comments, and especially, if you do have a custom screen on your phone or if you want one, just let me know. Just show it around, and most people like, I don't know, you got your phone on your desk, or it's just sitting there. People will see it and ask you like where you got it from. So that's probably one of the biggest things for me.
And what's your website? Where do they go?
So you can Google Screenskins. I'll be #1, hopefully. SEO's got my back. Or canancreations.com, and I'll be right there.
To answer the question, I think just spreading the word like everyone else has said. I'm really trying to target the warm market through my own market, my own connections, and I've seen the most progress in sales when someone tries out the shirt, recommends it to their followers, rather than them just seeing a pop-up ad that doesn't have much success, especially since it's a new form of shirt. It's unique to the market. That word of mouth communication goes a long way. So that's all I can say. Just spread the word.
I got a hard one, but a simple one. I need every one of you just to buy an airplane. And then I'll be your part source. So.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, simply, I'm like really word of mouth, same like Instagram. I'm really not on any of those kinds of things, but I plan just from talking to Clay and stuff on just trying to, get more content out there for people to see, free content at that, and just be known more or less.
Cool.
All right, Steve, we have a question in the back.
What's kind of your perception of Lakeland entrepreneurial, where we're at, where are we at in the cycle, and, what do we need to do, kind of like off of what, Maggie's saying, is what do we need to do as a community, not for your company, but how do we build this culture more, and get the word out in ourselves? I mean, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in Lakeland who don't even know about Catapult. So how did you find out about it? What's your connection? That's
That's a lot to repeat, Steve. All right, so the gist is, how did you find out about Catapult, and how can we as Catapult and as a community who supports entrepreneurs create a better entrepreneurial ecosystem to serve your businesses? Okay, we're gonna go down the line, opposite direction to give Wendy a break here. All right, Brennan, you're up.
So I first found out actually from someone that went through the pitch. It was Ben from Honeycomb Bakery, and also through Instagram. Like this application, it was like a reminder or a sponsored ad that had come through my Instagram feed, and that's really what made me put this application in. But to touch more on like Catapult, this whole experience is pretty inspiring. Just like uplifting entrepreneurs within the community. And I think it is like absolutely the best thing here in Lakeland, really.
Yeah, I agree. Catapult's helped me a lot. From the start of this year in January, I had the opportunity to sit down with Kristen and a bunch of the other Catapult members just to really run through what they thought about my idea. This was prototype number like 5 or something like that at this point. And they said, okay, you need to pitch at 1 million cups, which is it's not really running anymore, but it was at the time. Just every Wednesday, a group of entrepreneurs gave feedback to entrepreneurs that wanted to pitch, which was great. Just wanted to add, like, I think maybe Catapult and the universities in the area could do a better job of like really connecting, because what I've learned from undergrad and even my master's in business is that these degrees teach you to be an employee. It's all for the corporate world. It's not for the small businesses at all. And I know people are laughing, but honestly, I reached out a couple months ago to my entrepreneurial department at SEU and didn't even get a reply about the company. So it just shows you. But Catapult's helped me along the way. They're always there for me and gave me the strength to keep pushing on when I was on my manufacturer number 7 or whatever. So yeah, just Catapult's been amazing for me. So funnily enough, there was a small entrepreneurship competition at Southeastern, right? And I found out about the competition the day of the competition. So I quickly phoned Kristen, who had no idea who she was, and said, hello, like, I don't have anything prepared, but I can prepare it really quickly. I'd love to present. And that's kind of how it all got started. I wasn't able to pitch at that event because I only found out about the day of, but that was how it was kind of connected through Catapult.
All right, Clay.
So I found out about Catapult actually, I think it was about 2.5 years ago. And then I ran through Co-Starters. I did that. And then I've always thought about pitching for this. It just never was the right time. And so kind of about now as I'm scaling up. What was the second half of the question?
You're as bad as me.
All the kind of workshops, the 1 million cups I was going on, stuff like this, definitely 100% definitely helps out. And then just any gatherings. And then I think things like, if you did more like social media tailored stuff for entrepreneurs that they could gather and like learn more about their Instagram marketing, Facebook ads, TikTok, especially, that would definitely help out a lot of people. Oh, thank you.
So I think maybe some workshops, like I found out about Catapult just, it used to be in the basement. I've been to a couple of pitches in the basement. And then this huge building is like, come inside, look at me. I'm surprised there's not, 50 more people like us up here. But I think the things in my personality, I would be looking for, how do I solve this one problem? And I would love to be involved in a sort of a committee maybe of putting out some content that would address specific issues. We answer a lot of questions for our clients related to bookkeeping and back office solutions. And there's just some really practical stuff that we could provide. And if we had a place to share it, I'd love to help do that. And I'm sure that everybody here's had some wins along the way, or even some wise business owners that are here tonight that could just contribute, like on a 3-minute video of like something that really changed for them, and just keep encouraging the community. So.
Okay, I'm really racking my brain trying to remember how I found out about Catapult originally. I believe it's because I know a couple of the original members. I think I knew about it from them, especially Isabel Baker, who is my full-time employee, and she works out of Catapult. So I know for sure through her, but other people too. And then what would I do different? I would probably add more offices with windows that would be a perfect fit for 2 people. Right over on the side, overlooking the lake, or just saying.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you all for sharing. So we have just a few more minutes as the, do I see one more question perhaps? Yes. Okay, so the question was how, okay, could you repeat that one more time? I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, what is the maintenance that is needed on the cradle and how quickly can you get that maintenance to solve any problems?
Okay, so there's no maintenance required whatsoever on our units. That's something that we worked on when we were developing it. So they, like we have to go through biomed every time we go into a hospital, and we have to answer the questions and have to send them, a lot of them ask us to send an email that specifies there is no maintenance. Now, if there was a problem with it, then they would just call our number. They would talk to our person who does any kind of repairs. They do it over the phone. They can walk them through. We have, we can, I think I showed you the compressor unit and everything it's behind a locked door. That door should never have to be opened, but there is a key to it. And if anybody ever needed any kind of assistance, we walk them through it over the phone. We FaceTime if we need to, but it's very simple. Even if we had to get somebody, anybody who works on an air conditioning unit could work on it.
All right, wonderful. Okay. We have an indefinite amount of time here is really what we're working with. So we're just gonna answer questions as I see 2 questions in the back and then maybe a third. And so yes, you sir, by the exit sign. Okay, the question is, what is TikTok?
TikTok is amazing. Actually, I hated TikTok when I first downloaded it, but whoever designed the algorithm for it is amazing. It's like you can do 1 to 60-second videos, and it's like short form, gets your attention 100%, and you'll watch it for hours, I promise. If you download it, and once that algorithm figures out who you are, you're not gonna get off of it. Once I started doing business with it, instead of like consuming my personal time, I really did see an ROI on it. So if you can figure out how to make money through TikTok, even better.
Okay, excellent. And Adam.
Wendy, have you approached large corporations, say like Johnson & Johnson, providers of all hospitals?
Well, interesting you would ask. So what you're
May
talking.
I repeat? I'm so
Yes,
sorry. I don't
you
mean to cut
may.
you off. Okay. So the question is, have you approached large manufacturers or distributors to hospitals that already have a working relationship with them?
Yes. So yes, we have not, but we are considering that. That's a licensing opportunity. There are some, now that we have a patent, we are more protected to be able to go and do that. There are places on all the websites, Stryker, any place like that, you can go on and submit your idea. So we're definitely going to look into that. But when we do that, if we do, then we turn around and we're no longer in the business. So that's the decision.
Okay, David, one last question. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, Katie. Okay, so the question for Wendy was to clarify the purchasing model for the Caring Cradle.
So yes and yes, both hospitals purchase and parents, and we are almost 50-50. I believe eventually, what I really hope happens is it becomes a normal part of every hospital's purchase. Parents shouldn't have to spend their money to do this. They shouldn't have to fundraise. I'm glad they do, because they're giving time to the next people in line. And until it's regular hospital equipment, this is how it'll be. But we're about 50-50 right now. His question was, they donate the model, but they donate a cradle. So they will, for instance, they'll fundraise, if they've lost a child. I could name so many that are dedicated right now, but, they'll lose their baby and they will raise the money. They turn around and donate that back to a hospital of their choice. They work with the hospital. They'll usually have some kind of a dedication ceremony, and it's a chance for those families to actually honor their baby. And their baby's name is seen for years. And what's interesting is when those people actually connect back to that family, and that does happen. They get some connections.
Absolutely. Okay, so the question was, does Lakeland Regional have a caring cradle?
Well, unfortunately, I have to say no. And that's very disappointing for me, being that I'm a Lakeland resident and will be forever, and my children were born in Lakeland Regional. So it's very difficult to get into hospitals. And we do have a connection there that we've talked with and continue to talk with. It's just a matter of when they're ready to open up to that.
Okay, so we are starting to see some of the judges come back, and we are just going to take a quick moment to let the participants get back to their seats. And Kristen will be back to announce our winner. So thank you. We just wrapped up.
All right. I don't know what Maggie told you to do to fill this time, but I've been waiting for a long time to say this. I think she was wrong because I'm back. So the judges are going to come back in here shortly and give their decision. I'm out of breath because I just ran in here when I heard the clapping. And I promise I've been running like more recently, but that 10 steps kind of just got me. Ooh, Marissa asked if I was really a college athlete. Oh, that's funny. That's invalid. Okay, so they're coming back in. But I mentioned this at the beginning, and I just kind of want to give another nod to it. So this has been a whole process. Those 5 presenters you saw up here, yes, they presented tonight, but they also presented last week for some feedback. They sat in a closed door session with the judges. And so there's a lot that goes into this that you didn't hear in their pitch. Their financials have been looked at. It's a very big process. So first of all, can we just give one round of applause for all the presenters, for all the work that they've done? It's pretty neat. So I hope you guys enjoyed asking questions, but I know the real reason that we're all still here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring the judges up, and we're going to kind of announce this one by one. So first, POC IT. We'll go in order of how they presented. Sorry. We're ready.
All right, Mike Clanton. For POC IT, we've been very impressed with his work ethic, just the innovation, and really think that there's a market for that type of product. So we have moved forward and going ahead and to grant the $2,500 tonight.
All right, Brenton with Aero Commerce. So where are you? Raise your hand. There you go. Oh, there you go. Okay, there's a suit. Sharp looking suit there. We feel that, yeah, I think if you get a website, I think that's going to help you, create some e-commerce, do all that. So we're gonna grant you $5,000 for that. But what we want you to do is work with Catapult. They've got a talent in Catapult to be able to create that. And so kind of a win-win. Catapult gets some win, you get some advice from Catapult, and get your website done. All right?
So Canning Creations, Clay, I got you, so. First of all, I'll tell you, Clay, there are no rules for us. We can do whatever we want to do. So, forgive me if we change it up on you a little bit. But one of the things that when we establish the maker space that we really want to focus on is we want Catapult to own equipment. And we want everybody to be able to use that equipment. So what we're going to do is you're going to work with Catapult, and they're going to buy a laser or make sure that we have a laser there that can do what you want. And if you need exclusive use to it for a period of time, we're willing to do that. So that will do out of Catapult's money, not out of this fund's money. Out of this fund's money, we are going to match you dollar for dollar on up to $10,000 for every dollar you raise towards your $30,000 for your licensing. We think that's what you need to ask money for, so. You're welcome.
All right, and I've got Wendy at Comfort Innovations. We ultimately thought, from a business standpoint, this was fantastic. You have a unique product. We love that you've invested your own time and money for so many years. But even beyond that, just from a compassion standpoint, just very impressed with your business. And we'd like to ask that you get 3 additional quotes just in the interest of good stewardship. But regardless, we're going to move forward with funding the mold up to $10,000. So thank you.
All right, and I bring up the rear. So Adam, here you are in the front. So we were talking about you. The first thing that we said is that you should probably change the name of your company. Reason being is because we don't really think it's a bookkeeping. We think it's really more technology, which is really cool. And we were just talking about how the technology you're bringing to the table is really the sort of the future. No one's going to come in with paper anymore. They're not going to come in and do that. And so we think that you're the perfect company for what we're looking for to give to. You're in Lakeland, you're staying in Lakeland, you're growing, you're very scalable. And what you need the 10,000 for, you need it in order to grow. And so we're going to give you the full 10,000.
I'll be honest, I kind of planned what I was going to say at every juncture except for this one. So thanks for coming. They're going to do a picture with a big check, and it's very exciting. And you can come up and give them a congratulations. We're really proud of all the work they did. And thank you again to the judges for investing your money and your time. And thank you for coming. We're done.
walking back to Georgia, and I hope she will take me back. Nothing in my pocket, all I own is upon my back. But she's the girl who said she loved me on that hot, dusty Macon road. And if she's still around, I'm gonna settle down without a hard-loving Georgia girl. Mm-hmm. I'm walking back to Georgia. She's the only one who knows